Hi guys, Victoria Atkins probably thought she was going to have an easy ride with Laura Kuenssberg on Sunday, but unfortunately for her, Victoria Derbyshire turned up. The Shadow Environment Secretary was speaking about immigration and once again claimed that the numbers were too high. The Tory was challenged on a set of policies her party brought in, then another set to offset the previous ones. Then Atkins started talking about asylum seekers and deterrence. Have a listen.
It's too high, and that is precisely why both Rishi at the beginning of the year brought in measures including removing the ability of international students to bring dependents in. We know that that is the main factor, according to the ONS, in the recent reduction we've seen in migration.
So you had to bring in reforms to reverse the numbers that came in because of your earlier reforms.
Because of Brexit as well. Because as the UK left the European Union, we saw the numbers of people coming in increase dramatically. It wasn't just a replacement of EU citizens, it was a massive increase. Now, this was of course to fill jobs that had been vacated by Europeans, but of course a lot of people coming from further afield brought dependents with them.
I think also because we know that in relation to students, of course, this is a very popular, very highly respected country in terms of our universities. We're very proud of that. But we saw that there was a particular issue with dependents of international students coming in. So we changed that.
And what was the consequence of that? Fewer students were coming in. You're saying, on the one hand, you're saying, yes, it's great that students were coming. We want to encourage that. But we put a block on students coming who were bringing dependents with them. And what was the result of that? Fewer students coming in. So universities have had to lay off staff because of that. And they've had to increase their fees for British students. Who's winning here?
So changed the dependency, the ability of people coming in on health and social care visas to bring dependents in as well. So these are all having an impact, but we have to look forward. And Kemi gave her speech on Thursday, setting out the principles that we will be applying to this. And what I'm worried about, I've seen some of the coverage today about Labour's speech this week. They're not setting out any firm plans for change. And what I'm concerned about, for example, but we've had pre-briefs, haven't we? And we.
But how can you say that they have no plans in their speech if we haven't seen the speech? Well, we've seen clips or we've seen bits of what it's going to talk about. But you should wait for the speech and then you can criticize the speech.
We know, for example, that the government is opening up more hotels across the country. We know that they're focusing on the process, which, whilst that's important, of course it is, nonetheless, it's also about how we deter people from coming here in the first place if they're not coming through lawful methods.
Okay.
And so these, I think, are some of the issues that the government is really going to have to face up to in the coming days with this speech.
Okay, so just one thing to say about the processing. Robert Jenrick decided we're not going to process people's asylum claims because that would create a pull factor. So it seems the Tories are still sticking with this line that processing asylum claims is a bad idea. If you process the claims, then you can move people into refugee status and eventually they can contribute to society, or if their claim is invalid, they can be deported. Why are you against the idea of processing asylum claims? Because if you don't process the claims, then you're going to have to house these people somewhere, and likely being hotels. Now, the big problem, of course, is where there are massive problems around the world at the moment. In Darfur, there is a famine. The UN is trying to deal with that. This is going to see people migrate. In Syria, there's a war starting up again. This week, Russian warplanes bombed the second largest city. This is going to see refugees flee into neighbouring countries, put pressure on those neighbouring countries. We're going to see asylum seekers travel from Syria to Europe once again. These are real challenges. We can try and stick our head in the sand and say, let's just stop the boats. Or we can try and deal with this in a humane way. So it's going to be a challenge for the Labour government. But it's not going to be helped by the Conservatives who believe that everything can be just stopped, Reform UK who think that you can just turn back boats, and an asylum system that is at breaking point because the Conservatives didn't invest the resources necessary. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.